Now today we have the pleasure of introducing ourselves to you. We'll do that shortly, and then we're going to talk to you a little bit about the course, what it is that you're likely to be studying as you join us here at Flinders Law. Just in terms of navigating the platform here that we're on, Flow Collaborate, or Flinders Learning Online Flow Collaborate, which is our online learning management system. You'll see that there's a chat function, so if you've got questions you can add something in the chat function. If you look at the bottom of your screen, there's a little circle there, it looks like a balloon. If you click on that, you can type in a comment. You should be able to turn your camera on and off and your microphone on and off. And so it may be that if we have too many people with cameras on or microphones on, the bandwidth might be impacted, but feel free to have cameras on or off as you wish. So I wanted to start by introducing myself first. My name's Tanya Lehman, Professor Tanya Lehman, and I'm the Dean of Law here at Flinders. And so as Dean, I have particular roles. I have an external facing role, which is that I am responsible for accreditation of our law degree. And it means that I sit on bodies like the Legal Practitioners Education and Admission Council. I sit on the Law Society Council. I sit on the Law Foundation. And I also have a particular responsibility for strategic direction of our law program here at Flinders. And I'm delighted to say that as a result of some major work that we as a law team have done over the last few years, I can really be confident in saying that Flinders Law has one of the most innovative legal education programs anywhere in Australia. And as a result of conversations that I've had with a number of my international colleagues, I'm also confident to say that we are one of the most innovative programs anywhere in the world. So just last night I had a conversation with a legal professional from the UK and told him what about the things that our law students do here at Flinders, and he was blown away and said in all of his contacts internationally across Europe, he hasn't come across another law degree that does the same sorts of things that you're about to do. So it's great to have you. I also teach in our clinical legal education programs. I topic coordinate the topic Law in Action, where all students will undertake a semester of placement, either at Flinders Legal Centre or with external placement agencies. And at the moment, I'm also coordinating the topic Legal Practice Management, where our practical legal training students undertake 225 hours placement in a law firm. So some interesting things about my research. So what I'm particularly interested in is the intersection between law and technology, and future trends in both the legal profession, legal education, and how technology is impacting the society in which we live. And my particular area of focus there is on future mobility and automated vehicles and some of the legal implications of all of that. And as a result of that legal interest, which was actually driven by conversations with one of the honours students here at Flinders Law a few years ago, I have been involved now with a number of national industry groups, having the opportunity to make contributions at the national level about what the laws should look like around driverless cars and automated vehicles. So that keeps me busy in my spare time. And one fun fact about me is you might see me around the place on campus wearing a lot of high vis and riding my electric bike. So that's me, and I do want to extend a very warm welcome to any commencing students to contact me at any time. I'd love to have a chat. I'd love to get to know you. Feel free to drop by my office, which is room 2.32 on level 2 on the western side of the building, or send me an email and I'd be happy to make a time to chat with you on Teams or conversation. I'd really love to get to know our commencing students, so please don't be backward in introducing yourself. Now it's my pleasure to introduce to you my colleague, Professor Judith Bannister, who's the Teaching Program Director for Law. Judith, over to you.
Thanks, Tanya. Do you want to, for a moment, take down the slide so that they can all see you? So, and yes, they'll probably see me at the same time. So,
and I'm just trying to do that here for a minute.
and we can pop the slides back up once we head into.
There we go.
There you go. So there is Tanya, and can everyone see me? I'm assuming.
Yes, I hope
yes.
so.
Excellent. Thanks, everyone. So thank you, Tanya, for that. So Tanya, it's useful to explain the sort of the structure and who we are. So Tanya is, as she said, is the Dean of Law. My name's Judith Bannister. I am a professor, but you'll find at university for many of your staff, we're absolutely fine just to have our Christian name. So I'm Judith.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you might want to check with an individual teacher about if that's okay, but you'll find with just about all of us, we go by first names. So I am what's referred to as a teaching program director. So this is an administrative role, and in a moment I'll tell you that I'm an administrative law teacher. So I'm very focused on bureaucracies and governing bodies and so forth. So I'm the teaching program director, so I behind the scenes have the role of making sure that all the topics are run, that we have teachers in all the classrooms, how the decisions are made around how we resource the program and so forth, all behind the scenes. But from time to time you may find that I'm involved in decision-making processes that may have an impact on you in that role. And of course I'm a teacher as well, where Tanya's a teacher, I'm a teacher, so I have that leadership role. And also I will see you, and I'll see you all in the first year topic of Introduction to Law and Justice this year. So you will see me as a teacher right from the very beginning. So my research, I teach in administrative law. I have also over the years researched in administrative law. I'm interested in the holding government to account, and I had a particular interest in freedom of information. So when you get to study administrative law, you'll understand the focus there. So the topics I teach are, as I've said, administrative law. That comes into your program in your second or third year, depending on how you're progressing through the degree and whether you're doing a double degree. But I'm also teaching in the first year introductory topic called Introduction to Law and Justice. Introduction to Law and Justice sits alongside the other topic, essential legal skills, and I think Sam's going to do an intro after this, is she, if she's with us? But anyway, yes. Sam Contra teaches essential legal skills, and Rain Booth and I will be teaching you in Introduction to Law and Justice. So I'll get to know you all very soon. Fun fact about myself, well, for those, when you go into Introduction to Law and Justice, you'll see there a photograph of a very mud-covered dog. He's called Henry. He's now 12 years old, and this photograph was taken when he was a puppy, when he chewed up the watering system and then just covered himself in mud. If he had the ability to be concerned about this, he would probably be very upset that 12 years later I'm still using this photograph of him, and he's on the Introduction to Law and Justice site. So just to encourage you to go in and play around with the online glossary that we'll be using. So you'll see Henry up there, and he's the first entry in our online glossary. Henry's fun. I'm not sure I'm that much fun, but anyway, Henry is. So I'll hand you back to Tanya and see if maybe Sam's introducing herself.
So now
thanks, everyone.
I'd love to thank you very much, Judith. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Sam Contra, who has a real role here within Flinders Law and across our College of Business Government Law in leading some of our orientation and transition and our first year teaching programs. So Sam, over to you.
Thank you, Tanya, and hi everyone. Hopefully you can all hear me. So as Tanya said, my name is Sam, and as Judith said, I will be teaching you in Law 1312, Essential Legal Skills. I will also be teaching some of you in Law 1313, Ethics and Professionalism. So we'll be spending lots of time together across the semester. I wrote the slides, but I can't remember what I meant to say to introduce myself, but I think there was something about my research. So I spend a lot of my time researching into legal education. with a particular focus on legal negotiation, which is the area of my PhD, which I've just finished over the last year. I also teach a topic called torts, and in Essential Legal Skills you will hear a lot more about torts because we'll start to explore some of those principles. So I'll leave that as a teaser for when we meet next week. Fun fact about me, I'll join Judith's bandwagon and I'll talk to you about my kitten, who is not really a kitten anymore, but a small cat named Gracie who really loves to involve herself in any work that I'm doing from home. So those of you that have me for an online workshop, if I'm working from home, you might see her sort of force her way into the class because she doesn't enjoy being left alone when she can hear me talking in the other room. She's asleep at the moment, so she won't disturb us today. But yes, you can expect to see her at some point. I'm also very much addicted to coffee, as you can see. I usually have a coffee in hand. I think that's pretty much everything for me, so I might just hand back to Tanya.
Thanks very much, Sam. And I'm just going to go back to the slideshow and share that. So a little bit about what you're going to be studying. Judith and Sam have already mentioned a number of the core first year topics, and I just wanted to give you a very, very quick overview about how our law course fits together. So your first year of law studies is going to help build a platform for you to really launch off and go into particular areas of law later on in your second and third year. So in your first year, you're going to study essential legal skills and also introduction to law and justice, which will give you a bit of a broad introduction to some of the concepts, some of the ideas, some of the institutions, some of the structures in which law operates in this country and elsewhere, and also some of the skills that you're going to need to read legal judgments, to read legislation, to think about legal problem solving, and to find legal resources and undertake legal research. So those are important foundational topics that are going to give you the skill and understand the framework. We're also proud that all first year students will also undertake a core topic, Indigenous peoples, colonialism and the law. And this is designed to give you an exposure and increase your understanding of the fact that whilst our current legal system has been around in Australia for a couple of 100 years, we actually sit on a country where there's been a legal system that's existed for tens of thousands of years. And researchers are now saying over 60,000 years. And we need to understand the implications of law for its impact on the traditional custodians of our land and how that has been used as a tool of both oppression and dispossession, not only here in this country, but more broadly, and some of the current legal issues which impact Indigenous people. Really important to set that framework early on. And then you'll also do in your first year another topic which broadens your horizons beyond this country, and that's international law and global perspectives, because increasingly we know that the world that we operate in is a global world. We have lots of companies that are multinational, transnational, and we need to understand what it's like to operate in an economy and a system where jurisdictional borders are less important than they once used to be. So an exposure to international law and global perspectives is an important part of setting that scene. The other two topics that you'll do, and the final topic that you'll do with a law flavour, the deep law flavour, is criminal law, which will be an introduction to you to a specific area of law, and you'll do that in your second semester. You'll also do something that's very exciting, which is two legal innovation topics, legal innovation and creative thinking, exposing you to a whole new way of thinking about law and giving you the skills that you're going to need for the 21st century. And then in your second semester, legal innovation for social justice impact. Because when we think about the change that's happening in our world, in our economy, in our legal profession, and the use of technology and tools, this is a huge opportunity for us to think about making legal information, legal services, legal advice more widely available to more people, more efficiently, more effectively, and of course, more cheaply. So it's one of the key things that's integral to our ethos here at Flinders Law, and has been from the very beginning back in 1992, is a strong commitment to social justice. So we're confident that that first year gives you a really fantastic platform then to launch off and study a series of core topics that are core in all law degrees around Australia, which are commonly known as priestly 11 topics. Topics like torts, contract, criminal law, corporate law, property law, trusts, property equity and trusts, administrative law, constitutional law, evidence, ethics and professional responsibility, and something else that you'll do in your first year to think really carefully about who you are as a professional. And then you'll have the opportunity to go off and explore some option topics. And for those of you who are enrolled in the Bachelor of Laws and Legal Practice, then you'll go off and do your practical legal training. So one of the really exciting things here at Flinders is that you'll have opportunities to engage and get real experience of what it's like to be a legal professional right across your degree, from the first year clinic program in first year, and Sam can talk to you more about that in the course of her topics, the opportunity in Law in Action to undertake 12 days of clinical placement in your second year, and then Law in a Digital Age, where you will work in teams with computing science students to build legal applications for not-for-profit clients. So getting a whole range of legal experience there in terms of project management, client interviewing, management of client relations, etc. And then finally, for those in the Bachelor of Laws and Legal Practice, your practical legal training topics, which give you a really solid foundation in terms of what it means to be admitted as a legal practitioner. So there's lots and lots of exciting opportunities, and you'll encounter those as you go through, but very happy for you to chat about those at any time. Now it's time for us to introduce you to our student mentors, I think, and to a top tips situation. Sam, I'm just wondering if you can just lead us through this session.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think now that students have found out a little bit more about the degree, and I'm sure that they've got lots of questions for us. So we sort of added these slides in just to give students the opportunity to ask any questions that they might have. And because it can be a little bit nerve-wracking, you're welcome to type in the chat if you want to ask a question. And these questions can be really whatever you want them. There is no such thing as a silly question. You could ask us whether you need to bring a pen to class, all the way through to something much more complex. It's completely up to you. Or you can pop your hand up, which Judith has at the moment.
Thanks, Sam. I just thought two things. I thought I'd show everyone how to pop your hand up. And also I just wanted to check with everyone that they know how to find the chat room. So if anyone hasn't opened up the chat box yet, it's quite possible that everyone's there, but I just thought we'd check that. If not, put your hand up and we can talk you through it. And I'll put my hand back down.
That's great. Perfect. Thanks, Judith. So that's a really good point. So and I apologize, I am running orientation across 6 different collaborate rooms at the moment, so I missed the beginning part. So I apologize if this is repeating information you've already heard. But down the bottom of the screen, you should see 4 icons in the middle. So you should see sort of your icon, which probably has an initial in it. You've got your microphone, you've got your camera, and then you've got an icon of a little person with their hand up. So that's the button that you can push to raise your hand. And then over on the right-hand side of your screen, you should see a little purple sort of icon with 2 arrows on it. That's called our Collaborate panel. If you click that, you'll open up a particular panel, and there's a little icon that's sort of the shape of a circle, like a chat bubble at the bottom. So you can use the chat there, and I might see if everyone's been able to find it. If you can all please put an emoji or an emoticon in the chat, please, that would be really helpful. And mentors, I'm looking to you to lead this, please. So if you can jump in and pop an emoji in, and if everyone else can try as well. So you can click in the say something button. There we go. We can see from Tanya and Takuma. Fantastic. Excellent. Good seeing some students in there as well as mentors. Fantastic. Perfect. So everyone's found that. So now that you know where the chat is, there is no excuse not to ask a question. And we've got some interesting emojis there from some of the mentors. Thanks, guys. All right. So we're going to, again, hand over to you to ask any questions that you have. You're welcome, as I said, to pop them in the chat. You're welcome to pop your hand up if you'd like to turn on your microphone and ask a question. I'll facilitate all of this, but while you're thinking about things that you might want to ask us, I'm actually going to run through all of our presenters today. So this includes all of our mentors and our FULSA reps, as well as Tanya and Judith and myself, to provide you with some tips that we would really like you to know before you start first year law. So I will start because my mic is currently on. So I think the biggest tip I have for you, and this is for starting anything, is to ask questions. And I guess the second part of that is to write down your questions, because inevitably there will be lots of them and you will forget them at some point before you have a chance to ask, and you don't want that to happen. So open a notes page in your phone and just write down questions as you have them so that you can make sure that they're answered. And your tutors in class and your mentors, who you'll meet in a minute, are perfectly placed to help you answer those questions. All right, so I'm going to just run through mentors and presenters in alphabetical order because that's how they're on my screen. So I'm going to ask Alex, please, if you could give us one of your tips for the first years.
Hello.
Hi, Alex.
Sorry, just my computer needed preferences. So I'm Alex. I'm a mentor. I would say one of my top tips is always check your email after submitting any assignment, because when you go to submit an assignment, you submit it as a draft first, and then you have to confirm to, like actually submit it. You don't want any late mark deductions or anything. So if you just check your email afterwards, like it will say if you haven't submitted it, or it will give you a confirmation basically. So that's what I would do anyway.
Fantastic. Thanks, Alex. Next on my list is Isabella. Izzy, would you like to share a tip?
Hey guys, for some reason my camera isn't working. Sorry about that. But my top tip is to not compare yourself to others. I think that's something that law students tend to do a fair bit, but it is essential that you sort of get out of that mindset, because that really is going to be your downfall. So just focus on yourself and what you're doing and you'll be fine.
Wonderful, thank you. And next on the list is Jade.
Hi everyone, I'm Jade. My top tip would be, don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help if you need it. Like, might seem scary at the start, but like all of the staff at Flinders, not just the law staff, all staff across the board, are more than willing to help with anything that you need. So don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help if you need it.
Thanks, Jade. We'll go to Jordan next.
Hello. I've got two tips, quite quick ones. First one, make friends, because they will help you through all the hard times. And two, this one's more of a personal one. Join lots of legal meme pages, and you will learn as you go through law school that you understand more memes and will actually get quite a good ego boost from knowing that you've learned something.
Very good tips, and you might all see some memes come across in Essential Legal Skills as we get started in the semester. Next we have Judith.
Hi, well, I've got my top tip, but can I just re-emphasize what Jade said and back that up about asking questions. Sometimes earlier on in their degree, they think, oh, I can't ask a question because it'll become obvious that I don't understand or I'll look silly or whatever. As teachers, we really value questions, because if you ask a question, you're expressing something that half the cohort probably are thinking. Be brave, ask questions. It really helps with our teaching. It gives us an ability to go back over and re-emphasize something. We might think that you've understood it. If everyone in the group asks questions, then it just helps us enormously. And everyone will always say there's no such thing as a silly question, because it's just part of the learning process. So sorry, Jade, I just thought I'd back you up on that one. My top tip that I had written down was everything takes longer than you expect. You will be told throughout your law degree that there's lots of reading. There's always lots of reading. Sam and I will be teaching you in your first semester topics, and there will be lots of reading of case law and legislation and so forth. Just think about how long you think an assignment's going to take and add extra time. Back to you, Sam.
Very good tip. And I should add in there as well that you will see, you can already log into our flow pages for our different topics on Flinders Learning Online. And in the Essential Legal Skills page, you'll actually see some videos to give you some tips about reading and to help you through that process. So you're very welcome to check those out whenever you're ready to. Next, we have Katie.
Hey guys, my biggest tip would probably be there's an app you can download on your phone called Lost on Campus. I know when I started at uni, I found it literally impossible to find my way around. So basically it works by you put your room number that you have to go to in the app, and it works like Google Maps. It just kind of takes you there. It just makes it a whole lot easier, trying to find your way around.
Thanks, Katie. And we'll go to Kimberly.
Oh, hello, can you hear me?
We sure can.
Amazing. I'm Kimberly. One of my tips would be getting involved in the programs throughout the law school. So there's a bunch of different ones, but one of them is the first year competitions. And so my friends and I did that together. We did the client interview one, and it's such a great opportunity to build up your confidence, to meet other people who are doing the degree, to practice some of the things that you learn in class. And just, build up both experience, but confidence and friendships, and just a really great way to get involved.
Perfect. Thanks, Kim. And I think also you will have heard, and you'll hear from me a little bit later about our new in law program, which is running tomorrow. That's another opportunity for you to start learning some of those skills that we're going to practice in class. So tomorrow is really designed to help give you that head start that you need before settling into your classes next week. And our next speaker as well has done the first year comps, and you'll be hearing from him in that space as well. But Takuma is one of our FULSA reps. So Takuma, I'll pass over to you.
Yeah, so I'm one of the competitions directors for the competition. So I'd like to thank Kimberly for that point on doing first year comps. Great idea, should all do it. But what I was going to say is that as enticing as it is to skip out on some of your readings, you should do all of them. It really does help. Even if you don't think you have the time, just find a little bit of space to do the readings and don't pretend that you just know the thing, because when it comes down to it, you'll miss something stupid and that'll feel really bad in your assignment.
Another excellent tip. And next we have Tanya.
Thanks, Sam. I've got two words here: be courageous and be curious. So when I'm talking about courageous, I mean have the courage to go up and introduce yourself to someone that you don't know, because it's fantastic. You will build fantastic connections and friendships and networks whilst you're at university. So make the most of it, but that takes a little bit of courage to be the one to say, "Hi, I'm Tanya. Can I introduce myself to you?" And the second thing is be curious. You're going to encounter all sorts of ideas that you're not expecting. Be open to them. Think about how they might change you and what they might mean for who you become. There's lots of really, really interesting ideas, areas of law to engage with. Don't close your mind off to thinking that you want to be this when you leave university, but really just be curious and explore all the opportunities that there are out there for you.
Thank you, Tanya. And finally, we have Trevor.
When it lets me share my video, which it's not doing. But anyway, so I've got a couple of tips. Sorry, my camera's not working at the moment. Yeah, just a bit of technical error. Sorry about that. But I think a couple of my tips would be, firstly, try and make some good friends. Like, for myself, I've got the Holy Trinity, which is my good friend over here, Jordan Gowdy. I'd show you if I had my camera on, but unfortunately it is not allowing me. My second tip would be to try to get involved, as well as don't rate yourself off of your academic conduct, like your grades and stuff like that. You're a lot more than your grades. And I think with that, you might hurt yourself trying to compare yourself to your grades if you didn't reach the grades that you wanted in that semester, when really you're a human being and you deserve to feel a lot better about yourself than compare yourself to your grades. And that is my 2 tips.
Wonderful. Thank you all for sharing your tips with us. Now, over to the students. Does anyone have any questions? I know it can feel really scary to type in the chat at this stage or to pop up your hand, but does anyone have any questions that our presenters can answer for you? You'll have lots and lots of opportunities to ask questions, so if you don't have any, that's absolutely fine. All right. Then I might hand back to Tanya to introduce our next speaker.
So it looks as though to me that we're now moving to an introduction of Flinders Law Students Association, and I'm not sure which one of our speakers are going to be speaking to that. I'm thinking it might be Takuma. So if that's the case, over to you, Takuma.
I'm thinking you're entirely right. And yeah, so once again, hi, I'm Takuma. I'm a competitions director for FULSA, and today I'll kind of be just going through what we can do for you and some of the events we're running. And given that this is the 30th anniversary for Flinders, we do have a big year planned with a bunch of events and competitions. Great idea to participate. It's just really good experience. So yeah, you can get in touch with us through our Facebook page, which is posted on Flinders Learn, the LLBLP page, as well as we have a Facebook page that should be posted up there. Overheard at Flinders is also a Facebook group where you can kind of connect with other students, ask questions about campus, things like that. And yeah, so at FULSA we run a bunch of competitions for students, including some for first year only competitions. This semester we're doing the Open Moot, Open Witness Examination, and first year client interview. So I'll start with the Open Moot because it's the one I know best. It's basically a simulated appeals trial where both sides are kind of presented with a set of facts, and you got to perform research over some predetermined legal issues and present a legal argument on whether or not the lower court decision was correct. It's run in groups of 2, so you can sign up with a friend or we'll match you up with someone if you don't. And yeah, it allows you to deeply develop your skills in legal research while strengthening your understanding in specific sections of law where you're questioned on it. It's kind of just a good experience for working out what an appeals court might feel like. It's also, if it does sound too intimidating to start in the Open Moot, in semester 2 we also run the first year only Moot, which is a great chance to start a competitions career career kind of. And so next up we got the Open Witness Examination competition, which is a simulated civil or criminal trial, which kind of runs from like the opening statements all the way through to closing addresses. And this one's run solo, so no need for partners. You just kind of sign up and go for it, and it involves using like quick thinking skills which you'll pick up throughout the competition and improve on, as well as training your ability to be kind of adversarial at points. Then the last one we're running in the first semester is the first year client interview, which kind of sounds mundane, I know, but it's one of the skills most used by people practicing law. It's a really good experience to pick up on, and it's another one done in teams of 2. The point is basically to speak with someone acting as your client, and you want to ascertain as much information from your client as possible about their legal situation so that you'd be able to represent them effectively later on. This is then followed by kind of self-reflection. You talk about how you feel, what you could have done better, that kind of stuff. And it lets you develop practical skills that you'd be using frequently if you do plan on practicing law. And Yeah, so with these competitions, if you have any specific questions on them, we're running a info session on the 10th of March. It'll explain everything in a little bit more depth, and it'll be hosted by Dr. Sam Contra. Thank you. It'll be all recorded and posted on Flinders Learn, so if you can't make it, that's fine, but if you can, we are answering questions during the information session, and it's just a great chance to learn about what participating in comps is like and how it can help you with your studies, learning, your skills, etc. We also have a merch portal available to buy some stuff online. So if you just want to pick up some Flinders Law hoodies, pullovers, polos, hats, mugs, and all that stuff, it's a great chance to help support your Flinders Laws. Towards the end of March, we're also running a first year dinner as well, with COVID restrictions permitting, of course, but it's looking to be on the 25th at the Strathmore Hotel. You can find a link to pick up the tickets. I think they'll be up soon. I don't think they're up quite yet, but it'll be on Facebook or Instagram. And if you're in early, they're only $50, but then 60 beyond that. But the first year dinner is a great opportunity to hang out, get to know the students in your year, and just meet new people. It's a pretty good experience. The Triversity Fair is a big law event that's run at the end of March, a week after the first year dinner. It's basically a free event where a lot of law firms get together. It's really good for networking. You can go in and basically just ask questions about what it's like to work in law and meet up with people who could end up being your employers. It's something you have to register to beforehand just to kind of help monitor numbers for the event, but it's a super valuable opportunity to attend, even early on in your degree, just even to take a chance to learn what law is like. Then we're running, throughout the course of the semester, we're running a bunch of skills seminars. These help you develop the kind of skills that will help you in your studying and beyond that. So for this first semester, we're running just 4. There's the Managing Online Studies, which helps you get the most out of your classes. It'll have tips on how to get through what might be another year of online learning, worst case scenario. But we're also hosting seminars on resume writing, public speaking skills, but I think most importantly, seminar on exam taking right before exams. Then another great way to get involved with the student body is just join FUSA. We have a few vacancies that can be filled, and it's a great opportunity to get more experience, to be a part of a team and meet new people, even if you're pretty new to studying at Flinders. These are our roles. If you want to know more about them, just shoot an email off to Chloe. She's the president of FUSA. She'll be more than happy to tell you all about it. This is a calendar of all the events we're running. It shows the important dates we have planned, so competitions, events that are going down, some other important stuff like the March Poet loading. There's a copy to download on our entry, which should be posted to Flinders Learn, as well as on our Facebook and Instagram pages. So yeah, FUSA is one of the biggest student associations of Flinders, and we're always really eager to help in any ways we can. So if you want to find out any of the kinds of things we offer students, you can check it on our social medias or swim by our office in the law quad on campus once it's open again, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you have. So to kind of wind up there, just speaking from comps experience, it's a really valuable experience to engage with these competitions in advance, and I really recommend it. I do know it's just really tempting to attend your lectures, do your assignments, show up and be done with it all, but the connections you make at FUSA events are great, and the skills you learn at competitions will definitely improve your grades. Speaking from experience, I don't think I would have made it through crim law, but I just cannot suggest enough that you consider signing up for at least one competition and attend some of the events. So yeah, thanks for your time, and hopefully we'll be seeing you over the year.
Thank you so much, Takuma, and I really would echo Takuma's comments. The opportunity to be involved with a student association, to meet your peers, to meet your colleagues, to begin the first few days of what will be your future legal career, whatever that might look like, and to connect with those who are at that same stage on that journey is a really great opportunity. And as I've already said, can be the basis of relationships that go on for years and are really formative in your professional life. Now, I'm hoping that we've still got Sam on the call, because it looks like now that we're going to an introduction to mentors. Sam, are you there, and can you assist with this, please?
Yes, I am, and absolutely. So I'll just advance the slides. All right, so we've kind of already done this a little bit. So we've already introduced you to your mentors, but I want to talk a little bit about why you have mentors and the role of the mentors. So starting anything can be really challenging. I used to be a piano teacher, and I remember having little kids come in for a piano lesson with me and just be really frustrated that they wanted to play a song because their friends, their siblings, etc., could just sit down and play music. And trying to take them through and explain all of the steps could prove really frustrating. So one of the reasons that you have a mentor here in our law program is because they've already learned the steps. They can start to put together the song, and they're here to help you with that. So to help on some of that knowledge, the tips and tricks that they have that they wish that they would have known when they started law, and also to warn you of any traps that you could fall into along the way, metaphorically, of course. So that's one of the reasons you have mentors, and they are fantastic students who have really put themselves out there to learn how best to support you and to be there for you across the first semester. So they're a fantastic group of students that volunteer their time to help you out. So you will have already heard from your mentors. So you should have either got a phone call or an email from them last week or perhaps yesterday. And that could even be why you've joined us today, because they've invited you to come along. The other thing I wanted to say is that, oh, thank you, Tanya. The other thing I wanted to say about mentoring is that we also have sort of a couple of components to this mentoring program. The first is a booklet called our New in Law Guide, which you'll find on lots of different pages. You'll find it on the Essential Legal Skills page. You'll find it on the Intro to Law and Justice page. You'll also find it on our LLBLP Flow Community page, which is our flow page for everyone in the degree, and we've got a specific tab on there for first years. Now, that guide is really written for you to help take you through all of the key things that will help you throughout your first year and your first semester. So I really encourage you to have a bit of a browse through that guide. In Essential Legal Skills, I'll actually point you to some readings from there, some little articles that can help you understand certain concepts as we go through, and your mentors will refer you to that as well. Now, your mentors will also run weekly sessions with you up until mid-semester break, so our first 6 weeks of semester, and then fortnightly. So they're really there to help out and to support you. Of course, they can't help write your assignments or anything like that. That would be a breach of academic integrity, which is a very important academic consideration, and it's something that you'll become very well familiar with in our first couple of weeks. You've got an assessment related to that. But they will help connect you with the campus, with your peers, with law, and they'll give you the information that you really need to know at the time you most need to know it across the semester. So I really encourage you to engage with your mentors and to go along to those weekly sessions, which will be run online. Now, there is a link on that slide that if you haven't yet heard from a mentor, you can email that mentoring address, so that'll come to me and I'll fix that for you because you've probably been assigned one and there might have just been an issue with communication. So please do get in touch if you need to. The last thing I wanted to say about mentoring is that tomorrow's session, so tomorrow's our New in Law session, hopefully you've all heard about that from your mentors or through our orientation planner here at Flinders. The whole purpose of tomorrow's session is to really get you in the headspace for studying law. So we'll have a couple of presentations from members of the legal profession, but the main part of the day will be facilitated by your mentors and by me, and the goal is to start getting you to think like a lawyer. So we want you to start, well, to hit the ground running, so to speak, to really start developing some of those skills that you need to have in order to work in the legal field and indeed in any field. I'll tell you more about that tomorrow, but basically you get to start experiencing some of the skills that you'll need to do the competitions that Takuma and that Kimberly and that Tanya have spoken about so far. So it's a fantastic day that's really designed to help you learn those skills. I also promise that it will not be other than the two presentations from the legal profession, you will not have a lot of time sitting and listening. It's actually quite interactive. So you'll have small sessions and you'll have a chance to learn and practice some of those skills. All right, enough about that. The next stage that we're going to do is give you an opportunity to introduce yourself. Now, I know that sounds nerve-wracking because it's a big group, but we're actually going to split you into very small groups. So groups of, I think we're going to have groups of 3 looking at the participant list and a mentor in each of those groups just to facilitate something. So I'm going to start the breakout groups in a second. Now, what will happen is Collaborate will very abruptly pull you out of this main room and put you into a little breakout group. Once you're in that group, you can type in the chat or you can turn your camera and microphone on, but the mentor in the group will introduce themselves and will facilitate that particular session. So I will turn it over to the mentors. Now, instructions for mentors, I just wanted to flag with you all that in that email that I sent around to you, I had a list of which mentor should go into which group, which is alphabetically. I'll copy and paste that into the moderator chat so you've all got it so you know which room to go into. Students, you don't have to worry about any of that. Collaborate will just automatically put you in those rooms. So in a second, I'll start those breakout groups so you head into those rooms and I'll hand it over to the mentors from there. After they run their sessions, so in about 20 minutes or so, we'll come back into this main room, give you a chance to ask any questions and wrap up the session. So enjoy this time meeting your colleagues, meeting your mentors, and I'll see you back here soon. So I'll just stop sharing the slides and pop you in those breakout groups. And it will let you go from there. All right, have fun.